coming fast. Alban Photo hanging on.
Plutar giving chase all the way, getting closer now under Rachel Blackmore. Manella Indo is all out, flat out, but he wins the Gold Cup. It's clear in the hands of Rachel Blackmore. She won the Champion Hurdle on Tuesday, the Grand National last year, and now it's the Gold Cup.
In third, but it's Galopin de Champs who's galloping his way to Gold Cup glory. Paul Townend and Willie Mullins land the Gold Cup by 5 lengths. Rumbler driven up towards the line. It is Galopin de Champs. 3 lengths clear. Jerry Colomb. Conrad Rumbler is now tired, but Galopin de Champs will round up a great week for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend.
Towards the line, I know the way you're thinking is driven clear by Marble, and the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup go. So I know the way. That is the almighty question that we aim to answer with our anti-post focus for the Gold Cup. If you're new here, I'm Rodders, and this is On the Bridle. For this race, we'll give you the key stats for the actual race itself, the key protagonists and their stats, and at the end of the episode, I will give you my prediction for the 2026 Cheltenham Gold Cup, along with my final selections for the Cheltenham Festival itself. And that may include a couple of handicappers, and it will certainly include a couple of favourites that you need to ignore at this year's Cheltenham Festival. So, folks, for the final time, let's get into it. At this point, I usually would say gamble responsibly, but I'm going to treat you like an adult, like you should be. And not like a child like the government treat you, and not like a child like the bookmakers treat you for their own financial gain. So do as you please. So to kick these stats off for the Cheltenham Gold Cup, 12 out of 12 winners were aged between 7 and 9. 5 of the last 12 winners were either the favourite or the joint favourite, but 8 out of 12 were in the top 3 of the betting. 8 of the last 12 winners won their last race before the Cheltenham Gold Cup. But all of the last 12 winners did not run within a month of the Cheltenham Gold Cup. You need a fresh horse. 6 of the last 12 winners ran in the Irish Gold Cup. 3 of them won and 3 of them lost. But 2 of those occasions was Galopin de Champs. 12 out of 12 winners had one previous run at Cheltenham, but 8 out of 12 winners had one previous win at Cheltenham. 10 out of 12 winners had 3 previous chase wins, and also 7 previous chase starts. 10 out of 12 winners were rated 164 or higher, but 5 out of 12 winners were rated 170 or higher. I think the previous stat was for those races that weren't quite up to the standard. There were a few hooky Gold Cups, let's be honest. 12 out of 12 had won at least 1 Grade 1 chase, but 7 out of 12 had won at least 2 Grade 2 chases. You do need an animal who has Grade 1 form coming into this race. If you don't have it, it's curtains. So now that you have the stats, let's put them to the key protagonists. This list of would-be champions is going to be kicked off by Grey Dawning. Grey Dawning was a good winner of the Betfair Chase earlier on in the season. This race was nothing but a pipe opener for Grey Dawning. I do think he'll stay 3 miles 2.5, but I don't really think he's got the required class for a Gold Cup. However, can the stats prove me wrong? What can we decipher from Grey Dawning's positive stats? He will be 9 years old at Cheltenham. He has had 4 runs over hurdles. He is rated higher than 164. He is a winner of a Grade 1 race. He does have course form, and he has had 2 runs this season. Casting a light on the shadow of doubt, what are Grey Dawning's negative stats? Even though I'm sure he will get the distance, he hasn't done the distance yet. He is outside of the top 3 in the market. He was not a winner last time out. If the ground goes any better than good to soft, that would be a massive negative for Grey Dawning. And as of yet, Dan Skelton has not won the Gold Cup. I think it's fair to say Django Bay has been the surprise package over fences in the last 2 seasons. Everyone remembers him for his impossible Arkle win when he looked defeated at the top of the hill. Since then, he has progressed immensely to become one of the leading chasers in this country. The only thing I will say about him is his jumping is a little bit chancy at times. But putting that all aside, what do his stats say? What illuminating information can we gain from Django Bay's positive stats? He will be 7 years old at Cheltenham. He is amongst the top horses in the market. He is a 2-times winner at Cheltenham. He is a Grade 1 winner. He has run in a key trial for the Cheltenham Gold Cup, being the King George. He is rated higher than 164, and he has won a race this season. Opening the book of doubt, what are his negative stats? He has never done the distance. Nicky Henderson has not won this race in over 12 years. Going hand in hand with that stat, Nico de Boinville's last win in this race was in 2015 aboard Conigry. And there is just a sneaking suspicion his jumping might just let him down when he really needs it. I think it's fair to say Gaelic Warrior is a horse that's a little bit Marmite for some people. Some people love him, some people hate him, some people just don't really get him at all. But to be fair to him, this year he has produced some very good performances indeed, and I would say that it's his best season by far. With Galopin de Champs and Factor Foul not running in the Gold Cup now, it does make his task considerably easier. So folks, could this be the year a flawed genius wins the Gold Cup? What do his stats say? Gaelic Warrior's positive stats read as such. He will be 8 years old at Cheltenham. He has a win this season. He achieved that win in the Grade 1 John Durkin chase. He is currently the market leader for the Gold Cup. He is trained in Ireland, as the stats say that is a big plus. He has run over 24 furlongs multiple times, and he is rated above 164, his current rating being 172. Does Gaelic Warrior have any negative stats? Well, he didn't win his last race. He can sometimes underperform, although it has to be said this year he hasn't done that as of yet. And sometimes his jumping can be a little bit erratic sometimes. Spillane's Tower looked to be exiting stage left on the national hunt racing scene. Whatever it is that they did at home with this horse, they stoked the fires of passion because he is back with a bang. And I can certainly see him playing his big part in this race. But what do the stats say? So what are Spillane's Tower's positive stats? He will be 8 at Cheltenham. He did win his last race courtesy of this race. He is a Grade 1 winner over fences, about in novice company. He has course form at Cheltenham, and he doesn't seem very ground dependent, which is a bonus. What are Spillane's Tower's negative stats? He has never done the distance. Jimmy Mangan has never won the Gold Cup. He is rated 163, and he will be outside of the top 3 in the market. The Jukebox Man has been a surprise package this year. No one really expected him at the start of the season when he ran at Haydock to be winning the King George. Now viewers, you don't really know this, but I'm going to tell you, I was up at Haydock to actually see the Jukebox Man run, and when you get up close and personal with him, he is a lot bigger than you think, and he most certainly throws his hat into the ring to be a top contender for the Gold Cup this year. But what do the stats say? While looking at the Jukebox Man's positive stats, they tell us this story. He will be the ripe old age of 8 years old at Cheltenham. He is rated 168. He has won his last race. In fact, he is unbeaten over fences. Coupled with that, he is a 2-time Grade 1 winner, including the King George. He will almost certainly be in the top 3 in the market, and he is not ground dependent. So does the Jukebox Man have any negative stats? Well, Ben Paulin has never won the Gold Cup, neither has Ben Jones, and the last one is very circumstantial. He hasn't as of yet done the distance, but I wouldn't expect it to be a problem for him. The Irish Grand National, the Welsh Grand National, the National Hunt Chase at Cheltenham, all these things scream of a horse who is an immense stayer. And even though you do need to stay the Gold Cup trip, you also need a little bit of speed, and I just think Hoti Color is not that type of horse. He's just an out-and-out plodder, and when the taps get turned on round in a final bend, I expect Hoti Color to be left well and truly behind. But could I be wrong? What do the stats say? Looking at Hoti Color's positive stats, they tell this story. He is a Grade 2 winner courtesy of the Denman Chase here. He will be a 9-year-old at Cheltenham, and of course he won his last race. He wouldn't have a problem with the distance having won over further. He has run 8 times over fences, and he's not very ground dependent, having won on good and heavy ground. Taking a peek at his negative stats, what do they tell us? He is only rated 158. Rebecca Curtis has never won the Gold Cup. Peter Claw has never won a Grade 1 race. And as mentioned in the analysis, he may lack for pace when the taps are really turned on. So folks, what's my prediction for the 2026 Cheltenham Gold Cup? My prediction is that the Jukebox Man will be the winner of this race for Ben Paulin and Harry Redknapp. There is a number of reasons for this, but mainly he fits every profile in the stats that you need to be a winner of this race. So I think he will be just that. So folks, that is my prediction for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Now this show is not actually ending at the moment, so stick around because we have my final predictions for the entirety of the 13 races at the Cheltenham Festival. Some of them have changed since last time. It was a very long time ago since the end of December, which was our first video. So let's get into that. We're going to kick these selections off with race order. So first of all, the Supreme Novices Hurdle. In the original video, I said that My Daddy Paddy was the selection for this race, and I am actually going to stick with him because I think there's going to be a cavalry charge in this race. There are 5 or 6 horses that like to go from the front, and that is going to set it up for a horse coming from behind. You've got the likes of El Kairos and My Daddy Paddy and a few others in behind that will come late on the scene. Of all of them, My Daddy Paddy is the best jumper. That's why I have retained him as a selection. If he doesn't win the race, he will certainly get into a place, in my opinion. On to the Arkle Novices Chase. My original selection for this race was Kopek de Boord, and it will remain to be Kopek de Boord. Reportedly the other day, they had 2 or 3 good Grade 1 animals up against him, and they gave them a head start, and Kopek de Boord blew by them by the time they reached the finishing line. That's why I still think he will be the winner of this race. Next up is the Champion Hurdle. My original selection for this race was Sergino, but tragically everyone knows what happened to him in the Unibet Hurdle. I do hope he recovers, and I do hope at some point he can see a racecourse again. If not, there's no dishonour in that. He has been a fantastic horse and a fantastic talent, and we're lucky to have seen him at all. Moving on, I think Lossiemouth will be my selection in this race. I think 1000% they will run here. When she got beaten at Leopardstown, I think that then stoked the fires to prove a point, and I think she will definitely go here, and she is the selection for this race for me. On to the Turners Novices Hurdle. My original selection for this race was Sortudo, and I'm going to stick with Sortudo. I believe he can get 10, 12, maybe even 14 to 1 for him in some places. His last race didn't go to plan. Patrick Mullins got off him and said that his stablemate did not tow him into the race like he needed him to. And by the time he'd realised his stablemate was stopping, the leader had already got 8 lengths on him. And it was just impossible to make up that ground on heavy ground itself. I believe at Cheltenham, he'll travel into the race nicely. He's a good, slick jumper. And he may not win the race, but I find it hard to believe that he won't be in the first 3. Next up is the Brown Advisory. My original selection for this race was Final Demand, and I still think Final Demand can be the winner of this race, even though he disappointed at Leopardstown. William Mullins has a good track record of getting horses back on track after a poor run, and it's too early to be given up on a horse like Final Demand after just one bad run. On to the Queen Mother Champion Chase. My original selection for this race was Marine National, but Big Barry O'Connell has confirmed that he will not be a participant in the 2026 Cheltenham Festival. So in his place, my selection is Il Ete Tomp. I believe his last run was just too bad to be true. He never travelled, he never jumped. I don't think he liked Ascot. And I think you're going to see a completely different horse in the Queen Mother Champion Chase this time round. On to the Cheltenham Bumper. My original selection for this race was the Irish Avatar, and I'm going to stick with the Irish Avatar. His bumper form has been well advertised as a second come out doing cartwheels next time out. I think he's going to be a different proposition against these horses from his debut run. I think he's going to improve massively, and he's just going to be a rock solid selection for me. Next up is the Mayor's Hurdle. My original selection for this race was Lossiemouth, but I don't know whether she will run in this race. If she doesn't, then my selection will be Wadu. Wadu without Lossiemouth is just an open goal, and she will very much be the one to beat in this race. So Wadu for me as the selection. Onto the Stairs Hurdle. My original selection was Thelemy, but it's been proven that he's not going to run at the 2026 Cheltenham Festival. So his substitute will be Cabral de Mathan. This horse has improved massively for a step up in trip. I think he'll improve again from 2 miles 4 up to 3 miles. And I think he is definitely the one they've all got to beat in this race. Tahipu will need soft ground, like I said in the actual preview of this race itself. And I just don't see the weather forecast turning that much for him. So Cabral de Mathan is the selection. My original selection for the Ryanair Chase was Factor Foul, and I think for certain now he is going to go to the Ryanair Chase. Like I said in the Ryanair Chase preview, he's just a much better horse than these horses in this race, and I don't think there's going to be many runners anyway, so I think it's just a simple task for Factor Foul to pop round and win as he likes. On to the first race of the final day, the Triumph Hurdle. My original selection for this race was Manella Study, and it's going to continue to be Manella Study. I think he's the best juvenile hurdler in England versus the juvenile hurdlers that are coming across from Ireland. I think he'll go from the front. I think he'll set a decent tempo. He jumps well, and by the time they meet the rising ground in the home straight, the rest of them just won't have any answers for him, and he will scoot away again, and that's why he will be my selection for this race. On to the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. My original selection for this race was Dr. Steinberg, and it's not changed, even though I'm well aware of the stat that no favourite has won this race in the past 12 years. That stat has to change at some point. It can't continue. And this year's Albert Bartlett is a substandard race compared to others. And I believe a horse like Dr. Steinberg has it in his grasp to change that stat. That's why he's my selection for this race. On to the handicaps. I think Stumptown has an outstanding chance in the cross-country chase. Gavin Cromwell has been playing a game of you can't touch me with the British handicapper, because the British handicapper can't really do a lot with him for his win in the Czech Republic in the Velka Pardubice. He's only gone up £5 since last year, and I think that is an outstanding ploy by the trainer, and I think he will win this race quite confidently. In the Jack Richards Novices Chase, I'm going to go for a horse called Meet Me by the Sea. He ran against Lou Lambert in a Game Spirit Chase at Newbury. Obviously, he was never going to win that race or get near them. But back in this sort of grade, I think it will be more to his liking. And they're calling him Meet Me by the Certainty in certain circles, so that will do for me. In the Potemps final, I'm going for a horse who's called Supremely West. Apparently, this horse has been doing his best impression of a bullet train up the gallops recently, and I just hope he can hold that sort of form into this race, because if he does, the rest of them may be in trouble before 2 out. Outside of the handicaps, I think Bambino Fever has an excellent chance in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, and also Dino Blue has a brilliant chance in the Mayor's Chase. I think that might be her last season before she goes off to be a broodmare. Now you find yourself on the section of the show where I'm going to tell you 2 favourites that cannot win at the Cheltenham Festival. The first one up is the New Lion. How anyone can tell you this horse is going to win a champion hurdle, I do not know. He's so paceless. He beat Brentford Hope by about less than 2 lengths last time, and that horse has subsequently retired. It baffles me how anyone could suggest this horse is going to win a champion hurdle. He just won't get anywhere near it, folks. And then on to the other favourite that I do not think has a hope in hell of winning at this year's Cheltenham Festival. That is Masborough in the Champion Chase. If you go back to his Arkle run last year, he belted 2 fences, particularly the second last. And it doesn't inspire you that he's going to do anything different at this year's Cheltenham Festival. In fact, I've got a heavy wager that he's going to end up on the floor. So folks, those are the final selections for the 2026 Cheltenham Festival and the final episode of the Ante-Post Focus. We at the channel hope you've enjoyed the content over the past few months. We've had many new subscribers to the channel, and I just have to say thank you to each and every one of you who has clicked the like and subscribe buttons from the start up to now. And if you haven't done so right now, consider it. I'm not saying you have to do it, but if you like the content, it's completely free. Click the like and subscribe buttons, and it truly does help this channel out. I'm also going to say I hope each and every one of your bets comes up and you end up richer after the Cheltenham Festival. The idea of the Ante-Post Focus was to give you, the viewers, the key stats for the main races, and then hopefully that would act as a guide for you as you go through the Cheltenham Festival itself. We will be back on the 21st of March with a special Cheltenham Festival racing news. But until then, I'm Rodders, this is Unbridled. Until next time, stay safe and adios, folks.